Thanks for staying with us. So International Stuttering Awareness Day is a global health care event celebrated on the 22nd of October every single year to spread awareness about the speech disorder characterized by disruptions in fluency, known as stuttering or stammering. According to reports, stuttering occurs through involuntary word repetition and temporary challenges in producing sounds or words. Joining us on the show is a lawyer, book editor, and a person who stutters, Omobolanle Ayotade-Alade. Welcome to the show. Good to have you on. So to join the conversation, many of us have children, loved ones who stutter, and they find it very difficult to be confident. You know, it kind of takes away their self-confidence. So it's important for us to learn on how to manage our youngsters when they're in this situation and see what we can do to help them to live better, more fulfilled lives. So you can join the conversation 081-0764-1679, 090-2416-3440. You can also send us messages on Twitter and on YouTube. So welcome again, Omobolanle, to our show.
Thanks for having me.
International World Stuttering Day. Tell us exactly why it was important for them to celebrate this day.
Okay, so today, which commemorates the International Stuttering Awareness Day, is globally recognized, and it's dedicated to demystify the misconceptions around stuttering, because there are so many myths around there, you know, as to the reason why people stutter. Some people feel it's due to fear and anxiety, although there's an underlying factor. Anxiety and fear can trigger stuttering, but it's not solely as a result of fear and anxiety. It's more like a communication disorder, like you have mentioned, and then it's also caused by excessive muscular movement, right, during speech mechanism that doesn't really affect other people with who speak fluently. So it's not because, and then most people also feel that it's because probably stutterers are not proficient in English mastery, because they don't want to breathe, or because they're not being calm intentionally, or because they need attention. It's an involuntary disorder, and it really affects people's economic and social life. Like you said, leads to self-esteem issue, leads to being withdrawn, right? Feeling rejected, right? And then just feeling like misunderstood, and not feeling as if they fit in. And sometimes it's also restricts people from the kind of profession they can go into. I recall when I just finished my LLB from the university, I assigned myself to a law firm as an intern, and while I was going through the library, I came across a book written by a retired honorable judge. So, and then I got to a chapter where it mentioned people who can go into the law profession or who would thrive well in advocacy. And then one thing that shocked me was that it listed stutterers as part of those who would not thrive in advocacy. And that was when a time when, I was just about to go to law school, when I had all this confidence that I could really perform and all that. And that really dampened my mood. But I was not dissuaded anyway, because my dad had already gone ahead to pay for my tuition. So I didn't even have a choice than to, withdraw and all that. So, but that now kind of, affected me somehow, that I had that mindset right from law school that I was going to look for a firm that was basically into soliciting, where I would just draft more. Although that helped me in my creative writing that I kind of developed over the years. And also,
let me get a few more questions in for you.
Okay, so it's so funny, because like my immediate other brother, his birthday is even on Thursday.
All right.
Like, as in he used to stutter, and it's so funny that right now I don't even notice that anymore.
Right.
And I noticed when we were kids, when he would do that, and maybe people would question him or whatever, he would get like angry or want to hit out or lash out, right?
Yes.
But then I know that my mom used to like say, okay, you know what, when you have that bridge, just take a breather, like calm down and everything. So they also taught him to be confident that for the fact that you're at that point where you're out of breath or whatever, don't, it's okay.
Yes, it's
Do you understand?
okay.
It's okay to take a pause and stuff. So what really helped you? Because the way you sat down here, you've been talking, and you're not really taking a breather. So what has helped you to get this good, to control it?
So what has helped me, first of all, I wasn't always like this. There was a time in my life that I couldn't speak for more than 2 minutes without having excessive speech blocks and all that. I'll just, and then I'll be, first tonguing every, word that comes out of my mouth and all that. But, thankfully, God led me to a community, although I joined that community solely for healing in some areas, but God also have it that one of the things that I came across first of all was healing and identity, because I felt that for me I had kind of had a kind of damaged identity about myself, that probably I wasn't good enough, that even sometimes before talking I already have say that fear, I already anticipate that anxiety that that I'm going to falter when I begin to talk and all that. So by the time I began to work on my mind, on self-development, work on my identity, because I feel the whole thing starts from the mind, because the mind is where the damage is really seen most of the time, and then that now comes up in displaying passive-aggressive tendencies and all that. So so by the time I was able to deal with my mind and just get up my confidence that that I'm not my stutter, I can become whoever I want. I'm not all those labels that I've received past over the years. So that began to help me, and then the researching also and self-awareness, trying to know what this all entails. And then it's also that that we don't have enough Nigerians who kind of come up and talk about what they've gone through. I relied on people like Emily Blunt, the actress, who even till date, even though you don't really see her stuttering when she acts and all that. Yes. You see her still giving support to the American Stuttering Institute, going how to talk about how she was able to to overcome it.
I want to interrupt you because this is a very serious issue for me.
Right.
I'm guilty of it.
Okay.
But just listening to it, I have the other side of the family.
All right.
With extreme stuttering, and the spectrum just reduces.
Yes.
With my kids.
Oh.
I do it because we all did it.
All right.
When my son can't pronounce his L till date, I'll be like, which year you want to come? And I make, if he says, Mommy, look, and I hear look, I will say it again.
All right.
That's the lowest spectrum that he has.
Okay.
How do you react to skit makers, comedians, Nigerians who find it funny?
Yeah, it's not a funny
this
issue.
Condition is, we all make a joke of it.
Yes, even President Trump, you recall when he made a joke about Joe Biden, because he also has a stutter and all. So that's part of why days like this are very important, for us to bring that, for us to talk about this. It is not something, because I grew up not really having people talk to me about it. We just, sweep it under the carpet, like it's something that you just deal with by yourself. So although I came from a family where I was loved and all that, and they loved me the best way, my dad also stutters, likewise my younger brother. Although my dad with age, he's been able to overcome, and he's been able to talk easily. But what I heard most of the time was that, don't worry, but it will go with time and all that. But that's not. Meanwhile, it's not one size fits all. For some people, they outgrow it, but for some other people, they live it all through their life. But they just need to the main thing is for people to just manage, how to begin to talk easily. Look for what works best for you. And then for the comedians who make slurs, about people who stutter, well, I guess they have their own choice and all that, but it's for the stutterers to be able to build that confidence that what those people are saying, about them isn't their label. That is not who they are, right? So it's all about building self-awareness.
I'm so, thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have you. But I know really young children who are in school right now, and they're struggling with confidence and things like that. Even their parents are wondering what they can do to help them. Are there communities, organizations, or places even online that parents can go to seek practical, tangible help for their youngsters?
Yes. Now we have this speech pathology therapists. We have speech language pathologists or therapists, although they are not kind of seen. You don't really see them. They don't really come out like that. Although, I could be wrong, but, all through the years I've been going to the internet for research, I only get to see foreign institutes, foreign, and that's also the reason why I decided to also, get up and tell myself that, okay, that if no one is really getting up and standing up to, just be a voice for the voiceless, that I would, even though I for many years, I kind of battled with it that, okay, that how would a lawyer, someone who is in a profession where eloquence, is really prized and all that, so that kind of drew me back.
I'd like to open our phone lines for Nigerians to come, because the truth is that, yes, we're celebrating today, and today is the day to remember these kind of situations, but a lot of families are going through issues, and it's important for them to And my own concern is that we don't really have the necessary tools to help parents. I don't think, I fear, and maybe you can help me dispel that, because I don't think we are equipped in this part of the world to deal with, to help children. Because I know, you know, for me, I stutter. I stutter, and my stuttering didn't come out until after my accident. I mean, yes, when I was a kid, I don't even remember stuttering as a child. But it was after I had some kind of thinking, after my accident, I realized that it was difficult for me to express my thoughts. And it took me a long time. Even till now, I still struggle. I still stutter, but I still find a way to manage it. But
what you just mentioned just struck me. My son, my daughter quickly lost hers. Their end is the last spectrum. So they are L's, they are F's, they have the factor. But their cousins, you see extreme difficulty expressing themselves. Now, with time, I noticed that they don't know that there's anything is wrong. They're trying to talk to you, they're normal. It's you who is reacting. So I'm the one who does, mommy woke. And he'll be like, I said, look, I said. So he'll get angry trying to talk to you. So you are the one bringing. So while you're growing up, you probably stuttered, but it was just you making your conversations until people started to react to how you spoke. And then you noticed that something was...
So the reason why I wanted us to... I mean, I know you're here because you want to celebrate, but it's important for us, let's even converse about it. Because I have fun managing it, but I'm still struggling. Every single day is a struggle, because I'm constantly writing. So you're a TV presenter.
Every day
you have to get yourself together. Thank God for a script. But if I don't have... Sorry?
I like to see it as every day you're winning.
Every day I'm winning, thank you. Because, you know, I tell myself, if I don't have a script sometimes, I'll get flustered. I have it in my head, but it just doesn't come out properly. So it's a struggle, and I think maybe something that we need to begin to see how we can help families to get through this. Let me take this call from James. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, James.
Good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I struggle also at stuttering. I was in the US when I was younger. As I went to a class in the US, I remember my mates went for summer holidays or camp. I went for class. So when I came back to Nigeria, I find it very odd when people start to make fun of me and all that. Up to now, I feel something with it. So I just tuned in now, and I'm happy that I can see that there's a platform that people can actually come probably maybe to get help or maybe better.
Okay, it's really hard to hear you. So I want us to discuss it. How do you think? And this to all the ladies. How do you think we can help people? For me, whenever they call me for a speaking engagement, one of the silent fears is, Morayo, are you sure you want to go and speak? I mean, I really try to prepare myself. Sometimes I get it right. And there was a time that someone invited me many years ago to speak at LCCI. I can never forget it. I didn't know what to say. I had studied for it. I had planned. And it was in the early days of social media. And we just started with social media. I can't remember the guy. He used to come. He was a very regular on Your View. So he wanted me to be like a speaker at LCCI. I mean, and he went there, and I planned for it. And when I saw the faces looking at me, expecting me to have these things, I was saying it, but I was stumbling on my words. I was just talking rubbish. And I knew I was talking rubbish. He was happy. He was like, Morayo, thank you so very much for coming. I'm like, bro. So that is the very difficult. So it's still an ongoing battle. And it's not because we don't have the content. So I'll ask you, like, how are you able to forgive yourself when you feel you mess up?
I love how you...
I think the first place to start, which I also stumbled upon, and which was also part of the breakthroughs I had in my stuttering journey, is being able to stand up and tell your audience that I'm a person with a stutter. I might sound incoherent in some areas, but trust me, you're going to understand. You're going to gain value from what I'm about to say, because there is power in vulnerability, like Brené Brown, said in her book and all that. So the reason why most of us struggle, and which I also do as well, because we all have our fluency periods. There's sometimes where you talk fluently, but I've given testimonies in church, subtle testimonies that I've overcome this, and then 2 weeks down the lane, I just go back again. I'm just back to it again. So I guess being vulnerable and letting people know, not hiding it, because hiding gives this apprehension already. you put some pressure on yourself that, oh, I need to do this. Because most of the time, when you have that mindset that, oh, I can't afford to stutter here, that is when, you are most likely to do so. So by the time you are able to hone up and tell your audience, people would accept you the way you are, or people can be trained to even accept you the way you are, that, okay, this is a person with a stutter. There's nothing to be shameful about, which was why I also named my community Unashamed Stutterers. We don't have to be ashamed again. We don't have to stay in the dark again, hiding and making it look as if we have a disability. It's not.
I'll come to you, Mariam, in a second. Let me take Tunde from Magodo. Good morning, Tunde. You're live.
Ashamed stutter.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Something I think I can help, maybe the madam there can correct. If anyone with a stutter can find a quiet place and read out loud to himself, it helps. I don't know if madam has said anything like that.
Yes.
For anyone that has a stutter, find a quiet place, read out loud to yourself. As time goes on, the stutter will disappear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a help. Because I was going to come to you to discuss how do we help parents. So that's a technique you can try. Yes, ma'am.
So, initially you were talking about myths that people have on why it happens. And you said it's not necessarily about anxiety and fear. So this is a physical thing that happens in the mind or in the brain.
And it's hereditary, it's neurological, it's psychological. So there are different factors.
It's hereditary.
Sometimes it could also
so is it
be, as a, be through trauma. Like
So also trauma causes that. So for me now is if it's trauma related, if it's hereditary, what are there like is it medicines I'll talk about? So I understand there's therapy, but is there medicine also to help? Because you hear some people say, take your child to the hospital quickly, or why haven't you taken this child? Why haven't you taken this child to the hospital? Or people just feel that there must be something that has been done to this child for this child to stutter, this way. And then you hear some people say, because children tend to do it when you're in school, you hear you're in the same class with a child that stutters, and then your child comes home and is trying to sound like that. And you hear people say, if you keep doing that, you will get it. Could you help dispel some of these myths and how to help?
All right. So as of this moment, there's no pink pill that solves that eliminates stuttering. Yes. So the best way to go about it is for parents to just equip themselves, trying to learn a lot about it, and then there's no one size fits all to the remedy. Everyone has to just discover what works for them, and it's just by trying out and exposing oneself to knowledge as much as possible. For me, I was able to expose myself because I was just so curious, because I was just navigating this journey all by myself. But because of my super focus, because I also have this kind of I won't call it a gift. Sometimes it could work against people and all that. I have this super focus of focusing on things that I feel passionately about, and it was then that I realized that sometimes people sometimes feel that when they drink, it kind of douses it and all that. Some people go into smoking. In fact, when I was growing up, then I had someone who had this, who felt that he had already discovered a way out. He drank at one time, and throughout he stopped stuttering, right? And then he began to drink to the point that he now became an alcoholic, all in the bid of eliminating stuttering and all that. But the best thing that works is just therapy, right? Sometimes it could be self-therapy. Sometimes one could seek out this speech pathology, language pathologist, like I mentioned. They are out there, although so I guess if any of them are watching, this would be a time for them to just come out and begin to create enough awareness about what they can do to help and all that. Then I think joining institutes or communities where because this foreign communities, I find out that most of the speech language pathologists are part of them. Some of them also go to study that course.
Let me pause you for a second, because I was talking about the speech pathologists, because sometimes we hear of speech pathologists. Some parents have tried to engage speech pathologists and they still don't have the results. But I'll come to you in a second. Let me take Wuli. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're live.
Good morning to everyone. Actually, stuttering has been the problem. I could collect when I was growing. I had to throw things off to
complete a statement. Sometimes I have to pass my leg on the floor. And sometimes what we normally experience in the society is that, they will tell it to your face that I can't do, like trying to downgrade you when you're trying to, express yourself. And thank God, I think I've been able to, at least,
we can hear you.
Good, and I think we need more awareness on this.
Yeah.
We need more awareness on this.
Absolutely.
And from what I've seen, it is hereditary. Like I have 3 or 4 of my siblings like that.
Yeah. So also, thank you very much, Woli. I mean, my brother too stutters. His spectrum is higher than mine. I mean, but we're used to it. Maybe I'm talking to you for the first time, you might notice it, but we're used to it. So
I know someone who was called to the bench recently. He's now a high court judge. And when we were in school, he stuttered extremely all through. Wow. So we, as his friends and circle, just needed to be patient. No matter, we had a lot of arguments because it was an association, and we're all ex-co members. Okay. We had a lot of confrontations, but we learned that when we are confronting with this particular person, because he's extremely brilliant, he will bring knowledge to the table any day, anytime. So we had to respect that and learn to wait. Yes. So I really would like, to teach people, because from where I'm seeing it now, it's the recipients that worsens condition. Exactly. It's how your face turns, how you what you say that worsens the condition. The person can't have knowledge. He read so well. He had his PhD before he was called. Wow. It's brilliant. Yeah. But reacting was what provoked. So we never reacted.
So I think like what you said. I like what you said about owning your vulnerabilities, and then also saying no to bullying in terms of educating people. Why am I saying that? When I talk about owning your vulnerabilities, I had the speaking engagement on Saturday, and before I started, I told him, I said, I speak very fast, right? And I have knowledge to give. So at any point in time, if you're not getting me, feel free to pause me. I always start with that, because I know that when that thing is in my head, I just go on. So it's still, so when you own your vulnerability, so if people, and then secondly, it starts with me, it starts with you. People educating people to understand what's going on with some other person, to be empathetic, right? That's it. Yeah, to be empathetic, to be patient with people, and not to bully people. Yes. Right? Because especially for kids, there's a lot of bullying that goes with stuttering. Yes. So it's on the parent, the onus is on the parents to understand, to learn, to educate themselves, to teach their children that when someone is trying to communicate or do something or whatever, be empathetic, be patient, wait for the person to, or you can always ask the person, can I do something? Are you okay? Yes. But come from that angle. If you come from that angle, you ease the person's anxiety and fear, and they will be able to best express themselves. Yes. That's what I think.
Yes. Mariam, we're going to say something. So I think we're wrapping up with you. So tell us a bit about the theme for this year and what exactly is the focus, and how do we share more awareness?
All right. So the theme for this year is power of listening. So which was what you also pointed out and all that, power of listening, because listening does a lot. Now, for me, I'm also a beneficiary of a community where I was listened to, where I was cheered on, I was supported. And, all the chairs. In fact, some years down the lane, when I came out open to tell them that I stuttered and all that, people began to cheer me up, that don't worry, we have your back. In fact, they even made me a minister to preach, on the platform, just to encourage me to speak more and all that. And I'm more confident and all that. So now, you can imagine if, people who stutter have that, that constant environment of being in a place where people, not just only listen, but actively listen to them, where they show them, empathy, like you mentioned, compassion, and then also for parents, I think it's also, we shouldn't just leave it to these schools, because, part of my advocacy also is to go to schools, reach out to schools, teach the children about, to become friends with people with a stutter, how they can be friends with them. Then the teachers also, what they can do, don't discriminate. Thank God for the discrimination law that we have, the act, the federal government act that we have on discrimination and all that. Because for stutterers, they usually face that in education and employment. Because you can imagine it. So what parents can do is also to talk to their what teachers to let them know that, okay, my child has a stutter, and please, I want you to be patient, give this child enough time to talk, maybe during debate, during presentation, and all that just to show empathy, and then give them room to express themselves, and then don't.
Thank you so much. I think we've learned quite a bit from you, and I think you coming here also helped me to realize that, listen, this is something I could actually also look into, because I know how traumatic I was when I realized I couldn't express myself. It took me years. I mean, I was talking normally. I was acting. I was giving plays before my accident when I was a kid. And now, after the accident, I realized that it was difficult for me to make some statements. So it took me a long time. I was, but I'm happy that there's a community available, and hopefully we can see, and also maybe something that we can all be part of and support those young, especially young children who are going through this.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Omobolanle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's go on a short break now. We'll come back and bring in, talk about Down syndrome. I think it's World Down Syndrome Day today. It's also important for us to discuss that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.